we've made it. We've made it to my Little Mermaid review video. I know I annoy myself by doing this, but I'm just gonna go ahead and do it again. It was quite the feat getting this shot, and this is still not the shot I want, because you can't even see that I'm in the water in my bathtub. Amelia Fart's got some kind of system down. I think I gotta get my tripod out, but anyway. We're gonna talk about The Little Mermaid, the new one, okay? We're gonna talk about that for a little bit, because I don't think I'm gonna be able to sleep until I've made this video. I saw it tonight. Honestly, I really wanted to hate this movie, and I'll tell you why. It's not actually because they made Little Mermaid a black woman. That's fully not the reason. The reason I wanted to hate it so badly was I hate other live action Disney shot for shot, not quite shot for shot, almost shot for shot movies. So I also wanted to hate this one. But I didn't hate it. I actually liked it. I had some issues with it, but I did quite like it. And you're gonna hear it from me, baby. So if you don't want spoilers here, like, I don't know, shut off, okay? Because I'm gonna be spoiling some stuff for you from the movie. First, let's talk about the first movie. Let's talk about The Little Mermaid, okay? The animated one that came out in 1989. That was my go-to movie as a wee lass, okay? I actually could stop, rewind, play. I could operate a VHS player, a VCR, completely at the age of 2, okay? I really could. And that was so I could watch The Little Mermaid on a loop. And that is what I did. I loved that movie as a kid. I loved it a whole lot. I watched it somewhat recently as an adult, and I didn't really feel too similarly about it. I don't love the story, in all seriousness. The actual original story by Hans Christian Andersen is a lot more disturbing, and the version we have, the Disney version we have, is already disturbing. So there's that. Wow, I'm doing something I'm going to talk about that I hate, but this is kind of fitting because it looks like we're on a ship, which is shaky camera work. We're going to get to that later. So, loved that movie as a kid, revisited it as an adult, and I was like, I don't really feel good about a young woman giving up her voice to be with a guy that she's not even met formally. She just saw him and loved him. Because he was a human. She's got a friggin' big thing for humans. But anyway, I did have some issues with this movie, but overall, I did like it. I have some notes. I don't know if I'm going to be able to read them. I'm going to attempt it, okay? I will attempt. Maybe I won't, because this is a little bit obnoxious to me. So, the reason I don't like these remade animated movies into live action movies is because I feel that they're generally obnoxious. I feel that they're unnecessary. I feel that they're unoriginal. I feel like they're just a major cash grab for Disney, obviously. And I feel like they could be doing better things with their money, but clearly they need money. Like, they're hurting. They're hurting for money, and they're hurting for stories. They're hurting for content. I wish I knew what was going on there, because there's a lot going on there. I don't know what it is, but there's a lot going on, and yeah. So I don't know when the fuck this pre-production started, but it must have been a while ago, because I'm sure the movie took quite a while to make. Anyway, I was thinking I wouldn't like the movie, because I was not impressed by the trailer. I really wasn't. Maybe I can take these off because they're fogging up right now and I can't see me, but it's okay. Wasn't impressed by the trailer. We'll talk about that in a minute. But I was just like, why does this look so fucking dark? Like the whole movie, the trailer looks physically dark. The coloring on it, because they do all the coloring in post-op, okay, was DARKAF. And I was like, what the fuck? I was like, yeah, good reproduction of the animated stuff we already know, but like I just wasn't impressed, right, by the trailer. So, I also wasn't impressed with the introduction of the Mermaid Village. I thought that was rather lackluster and boring looking. It sounded cool. I generally liked the mermaid aesthetic they had going on, but I was kind of like, the scenery that they created, okay, was like this for me. I don't want to just make this a bitch session because I did in fact like the movie. I ended up liking the movie. So let's talk about what I didn't like, and then we'll talk about what I liked, and then I'll talk about whatever I'll talk about other things before that, but that's generally what we're going to talk about. It's my understanding that Walt Disney himself wanted to make The Little Mermaid into a movie. I didn't fact check, but I feel like I heard that at one point, because he fucking knew what he was doing, and he knew that the best movies to make, the movies that he loved making, were ones that were already existing stories, and The Little Mermaid was an existing story. So it didn't come out though until many years after his death in 1989, and that was during something I've probably already talked about here on my channel, which is the Disney Renaissance. And I'm convinced. Let me get original Ariel bangs here. I'm convinced that the whole fucking reason we had the Disney Renaissance was because of Howard Ashman, period, the end. He was the most talented songwriter Disney has ever known, probably will ever know. He did, like, all the songs for the Disney Renaissance stuff. All of them, okay? I don't think he did Pocahontas. I think he had, he had definitely passed on by the time Pocahontas came out. But he did Little Mermaid. It was Howard Ashman and Alan Menken, but in my opinion, Howard Ashman was really the brains behind it. So he did Little Mermaid, he did Beauty and the Beast, he did Aladdin, and I feel like there's one that I'm missing, but he did those three, and those are top notch, right? So he had a very specific style, and I just think, and he also studied kind of audience psychology. He absolutely knew what he was doing. You can watch the short about him or the documentary about him on Disney Plus, okay? But he knew exactly what he was doing. He wrote Little Shop of Horrors as well, and he actually wrote that for off-Broadway, like a smaller play setting, kind of similar to the amount of booties we would have in your standard movie theater, right? So he knew exactly how to write songs for that audience, and he also went to the trouble of making sure to cast an actress. What I forgot what they said in the documentary, but it was pretty significant. A singer who was a good actress, and not an actress who was a good singer. All right? Because the singing is very important as far as performance goes. Anyway, in my opinion, he had it down to a fucking science, and that's why we have Friend Like Me, Under the Sea, and Be Our Guest. Okay? Anyway. Unfortunately, he passed on from complications of AIDS. And we no longer have him with us to write awesome songs. And that's part of the origin of The Little Mermaid. Okay, let's just remember that. Anyway, I didn't like the visuals. I didn't really love the underwater visuals, honestly. Wasn't crazy about them. And I've said that the trailer was dark because it is physically dark if you look at the colors in it. But that was actually because once she got on land, everything was really bright. So that was actually a cool contrast that I didn't see coming. And I was like, okay, now it makes sense. But you have to actually watch the movie to understand that. I see where Disney is coming from by trying to flesh out these characters and kind of change a few things here and there. But in my opinion, if you're going to remake the same movie with the same story, why not just do your best to do it shot for shot? I want to know. I guess they want to hire more people to do more shit like costumes and set design and all that, and extras, etc., but I digress. So, Holly Bailey was really great. Something that annoyed me during Part of Your World was, and this wasn't just her, I think it did also happen during Poor Unfortunate Souls, was like the mouth movements were off. And it takes an eye like mine to see that, but like I think your average person wouldn't notice that. They weren't really like off, but they were like, I could tell that like they were just lip syncing to their own song to get those shots. All right. Anyway, didn't love the underwater visuals, but I understood that was because later on I understood that was because you wanted to wait until they were on land in order to see the brightness. I wanted to say something about Eric, and that is that I didn't find him super hot. I found him somewhat boring looking, but maybe that's kind of good because I remember hearing in another like behind the scenes spot about Disney movies that no one wants to draw Prince Charming because he's boring. He's just boring compared to every other character. He's the boring one. So maybe that's a good thing. But he did look like Eric from the original movie. At first I thought he looked like that guy. His name is Jonah. Not that he looked like this guy. At first I thought he looked like the guy who did Aladdin's voice and was also Steve on Full House. At first I thought he looked like him. But later on I realized he didn't really look like him. He did look like Eric for real. And I forgot that guy's name. But anyway. I just want to say that when you have to use a green screen or a green ball on a stick to get performances out of actors, their performances suffer. Okay? Quote me. And that's not surprising at all because it is really fucking hard to pretend that green objects on sticks in front of you are fish. Like, that's not really super complicated. Anyway, let's talk more about the visuals. Flounder and Sebastian looked really bad. I do not know why they made them look that way. I loved Daveed Diggs as Sebastian. Like that was a really pleasant surprise. Like I told you, I thought I was gonna hate this movie, and then Sebastian came on, and I was like, I really enjoyed him a lot. I loved his voice. But yeah, the actual crab, Sebastian, fugly. Flounder, fugly. Hated them both. Hated how they looked. Really, I did. And Scuttle was annoying to me. I guess I'm showing my age here. I didn't know that Aquafina was a real pop star. I thought when people were talking about her, I've only heard a couple of people talk about her. I thought they were talking about Sextina Aquafina from BoJack Horseman. So, you gal is showing her age, but anyway, I thought the worst there were two worst moves here, okay, on Disney's part. That was putting in the 2 new songs that they did. Actually, there were 3 new songs, but 2 of them were especially bad because Lin-Manuel Miranda wrote those and Howard Ashman did not write them. That was a mistake. You can tell their styles don't mesh at all. The one song that was okay, the one that she sang when she was on land, but it also didn't make sense that she sang it when she was on land because she had already lost her voice at that point and she was just like singing it in her mind, but not for real. I was like, this ain't making sense. But I get why they had to do it. I understand that. But yeah, so Eric gets his own song, like boo-hooing about Ariel in the ocean, and then the song that Scuttle and Sebastian sang towards the end. I guess I do have to thank Lin-Manuel Miranda for this because I love shouting things out in the theater, no matter what time of day it is, no matter what the fucking audience level is I will shout things out if I can. So after that song, they were singing this song about like Scuttle came in to tell Ariel that there was some event fucking going on, and then Sebastian joined in, and after that song I got to shout. That was horrible because it was horrible. It was a horrible song. I am rather confused here because I feel like they just did away with the step of using test audiences. I don't know if that's COVID related. Maybe they're still using them, but they're ignoring them, or they're not asking them the right questions, because that song was really shitty. And so was the one that Eric sang. Totally forgettable. It's better to be forgettable than actually awful, like the song I just mentioned, because if it's actually awful, like that's memorable for the wrong reason, not just for being boring. But so I think that was the biggest mistake they made with the movie. But the other mistake they made with the movie was making it too fucking long. Why would you make a kids movie that's over 2 hours? Why? I don't understand. Like, I'm rather confused here because I know that Disney is banking off this whole nostalgia train, and they've been on this shit for quite a while, and they know that people like me are going to pay money to see shot-for-shot remakes of Disney Renaissance movies. But I'm like, why are you making them longer than they have to be? I don't recall off the top of my head how long the original Little Mermaid was, but I'm going to guess it was less than 1 hour and 20 minutes long. And this movie was 2 hours, 15 minutes long. And you do have to subtract a little bit of time off there because that is including, probably about 10 minutes, because that is including the entire roll of the credits. But I'm like, but it wasn't just that shitty song about, hey, let's go down and see what's going on, which could have been the entire song, they could have replaced the entire minutes long song with, hey, we gotta go see what's going on downstairs. One line. Other than that, I felt like there was a lot of time wasted. I feel like there were quite a few masturbation stations. I can't remember if I've described masturbation. I have described masturbation stations on here. I described them in the video I made about The Last of Us. Masturbation stations are shots that are fun to shoot, are fun to compose, are fun for the actors. You know, the director loves shooting it, but they don't actually help the plot or the character development in any way. So I felt like there were just a lot of shots, a lot of lines that were just not necessary, and we could have had a movie that was an hour and 20 minutes long. We had some shaky camera work with Sebastian when he was like crawling around trying to get places, right? I understand why they did that from a stylistic point of view, because, you know, they were trying to make it look precarious, because it was kind of precarious, but I'm like, why are you purposely putting in shaky camera work when you do not have to? It looks amateur. Don't do it. Okay, so I'm trying to think of the other things that I didn't like, so I can get to the things that I did like. I felt like the costumes were a little bit lackluster. Like the dress Ariel wore was a little bit lackluster, but that's okay. Halle Bailey is impressive enough on her own. And you know what? I actually like that the costumes were a little bit lackluster, even though I just said that I didn't like them. If they're lackluster, that is kind of good, because then you're more looking at the actor wearing them than the clothing itself. So I guess I have mixed feelings about that. I feel like there was another major thing that I didn't like that I was gonna say. Sebastian is ugly. We all know that. Oh, there was one funny part during Part of Your World where Ariel had a book in her cave, and she turned a page. Like, sweetheart, I don't know where you would have found a waterproof book in that day and age, but good work. Okay, so let's get to what I did like. Oh, this is the thing that I was gonna say. With all Disney movies, with all Disney Renaissance movies, excuse me, I feel like there's one, as far as the songs go, there is one jewel in the crown. There's one song, and this is what I was saying in the beginning with shaky camera work, because now I have shaky camera work, but I'm also an amateur, and I don't have millions, billions of dollars to make videos. But anyway, so for Disney movies, it used to be during the Disney Renaissance and before that, prior to that, but maybe it was only during the Disney Renaissance. Anyway, there was one song that was the jewel in the crown. There was one song where they pulled all the stops, made it look so extravagant, threw all the money at it that they possibly could. I mean, I don't know that certain songs were more expensive to animate and create generally, but for me, I feel like you can tell what those are. Like in Beauty and the Beast, I feel like it's Be Our Guest. In Aladdin, I feel like it's Friend Like Me. In Little Mermaid, I feel like it's Under the Sea. Under the Sea, in this version of Little Mermaid, I didn't like it. The song was great. The song was good. I don't think I don't think Halle Bailey needed to sing during that song. She threw in some Under the Seas, and that was about it. Daveed Diggs did it perfectly. Honestly, his voice is great, like I keep saying. But I did not like the animation that they paired with it. I could tell they had a lot of fun, and I could tell they did a lot with it, right? But I just wasn't feeling it. I wish they had really invested more in that specific song. I feel like they might have invested more in Kiss the Girl, and that's actually my least favorite song in the whole movie. But anyway, wasn't loving Under the Sea, but that's okay. So I ended up liking this movie. Like I said, I did end up really liking it. I didn't think I would, but then I did, and now I'm telling y'all about it. So, I don't know, if I took off my tray, y'all could see my legs, so you could prove I'm not a mermaid. But then Pirate Guy, Pirate, do you want to come up? Hey, Pirate. He's in my shot a minute ago. Pirate boy, you want to come up here? Do you want to come up and be in the video? You're my superstar. You're my superstar camera hog. You might just stay here. So I can't prove to y'all that I'm not a mermaid, but oh yeah, okay, he stay. I enjoyed the movie. I ended up liking it more than I thought I would. My little hop hating heart shed a tear for real. Multiple tears. So Ariel gets dressed when she first gets on land, and they put her in heels, and she hates them, and she takes them off. And then a few minutes later, she finds some flat sandals that she loves and she can dance in, and that was when I did a little crying. I liked that both Eric's mom and Ariel's dad were more fleshed out, and Eric's mom was saying, like, both of them were kind of saying the same thing. They were both saying, like, the other place is dangerous. Like, Eric's mom was saying the sea is dangerous, like, I don't want you going out there. And Ariel's dad was saying land is dangerous, humans are dangerous, I don't want you interacting with them. And they both actually had points. So I did like that. And I liked that they did build more context for Eric and Ariel liking each other. I felt like there wasn't a whole lot of context in the original movie. I feel like Ariel just saw Eric and then loved him, and that was kind of it. And then Eric was like, "Oh yeah, you're cute, cool." But in the movie, there was more build up, and they had more character development and more of a story together. So I thought that was cool. I ended up liking the fact that the sea was so physically dark because of how bright everything became once she got on land. So with more context, it made more sense. You want to fight me? Yeah, you want to play. What else did I like? I want to say one more thing that I didn't like. Are you leaving? Are you leaving? Bye-bye. I want to say one more thing that I didn't like, and that's that I feel like filmmakers today, like, I feel like they just forgot how important it is to have a super legit title screen. Like, I don't know what that's about. I feel like the title screens now are just lackluster AF. Like, there have been times where I've seen just phenomenal title screens and I'm just like blown away, you know, within the first 20 seconds, within the first 5 minutes of a movie, because their title screen is just so fucking cool, right? But this one was like, meh. I feel like they're all like meh. Shit, I was gonna say something else that I didn't love. I probably forgot. I don't love the story still, though. I just, I think it's so, oh, okay. I was gonna say, Ursula, her whole character, her whole aesthetic is very dark, is very physically dark, and it does look cool. And I feel like as you're watching the movie, you're kind of associating the sea more with Ursula and that kind of ocean like darkness. Oh, okay, I remember what I was gonna say. Fam, I hate the new Disney firework thing. Oh, Parrot's got his little tail in the water. It's so cute. I love when he does that. Look, let me show you his bath toy. Where'd you go? Here she is. Here she isn't. I got her. This is Parrot's favorite bath toy. Parrot! It's a sea monster. She comes out and plays with him all the time. He really loves her. There, he got her. I can't get him in the screen, in the shot. Try to get him in there. I hate the little firework drop. Honestly, okay, y'all can make fun of me all you want, for real. But the old one, before they updated it by putting in a fucking train and a river and windows and a stained glass window and stars and clouds, the one before that, the firework drop, that when it goes down na 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 do 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 do. I hate the new one. It's too long, it's too detailed, it's obnoxious, and it doesn't make me cry. And do you fucking think I want to watch that shit after I've watched 26 minutes of previews? The answer is no. The other one was shorter. Bring back the other one. It was simpler too. Anyway, I think that I'm sure kids would like this movie even though it's too long. You know, maybe they gotta take a break, have some lunch, have a nap, then finish the movie. I feel like kids wouldn't have any sort of problem with it. I think they would. Stop! I knew that was gonna happen. I'm telling you, this is the most precarious shit, the most precarious shot, and I knew that Pirate was gonna fuck with it like that, and he did. Kids would like this movie. I don't think kids would have any sort of problem with it other than the fact that it's too long. And that horrible song with Scuttle and Sebastian towards the end. There. Now we see their love for each other. There we go. There we go. That's the love we have for each other. And I feel like that's kind of what's important, is that kids would in fact like this movie. How much time do we have? We're golden. But I feel like the backlash about this movie, not even the fact that Ariel is black, I feel like the backlash is more about the fact that people feel like their childhoods are being messed with. Like they feel like they're being fucked with. Let me tell you, I made the mistake of watching Hocus Pocus 2, and I love the first Hocus Pocus movie so much. That was always my go-to. It more recently has still been one of my go-tos that I just fucking love. And it's hilarious. But I saw Hocus Pocus 2 and it almost made me hate Hocus Pocus 1. It sucked so much. Truly. So I feel like people do feel like they're being fucked with this kind of thing. And why were they so upset about Halle Bailey being the Little Mermaid? I feel like they're not going to be as upset if they actually watch the movie. I was getting at this earlier, but I think I changed the subject, being me. When King Triton and Queen Selena, Ariel's dad, and Eric's mom were saying that the other party was dangerous. They were making sense, like I said. And I thought it was just really interesting to kind of stir up those emotions of like, oh, we don't like that group, or like, oh, you shouldn't be with that group, even though you're totally in love with one of its members. You know, I feel like that was a really interesting theme to put in there. And they did it quite well. But yeah, I think that people are mad about it because they feel like their childhoods are being messed with. But let me tell you, this was a pleasant surprise compared to Hocus Pocus 2. I'll tell you that much. You want your friend? Get back in the shot. He was so cute. He's not going to get back in the shot. I will say this, though, before I turn off the camera, and that is that I wish Disney would try harder with the stories that they're making. I wish they wouldn't make these shot-for-shot remakes. I'm more okay with The Little Mermaid than I am with Beauty and the Beast, The Lion King, and Aladdin. Oh my god, just thinking about the live-action Aladdin makes my blood boil. I know that's extreme, but it does. I hate it. And I saw Beauty and the Beast. It was forgettable. I didn't see The Lion King. It looked horrible, probably because it is. I just wish that Disney would be making more original stuff. I really do. I wish they would be making their original stories. I wish that they would be investing in their original stories. And like, y'all probably don't know this, okay? But back in the day, they used to re-release animated movies every 7 years. Like Sleeping Beauty came out every 7 years. It was re-released in the theaters every 7 years. Okay? You know, probably Robin Hood was re-released every 7 years, etc., that kind of thing, like to generate profit. And these were old, like The Jungle Book was re-released every 7 years to generate profit and to get kids to continue, like, you know, because if you see it when you're 5, you're not going to care that much about it when you're 13 or whatever. But like your little sister might like it, that kind of thing. It was to keep the hype alive, the hype for the existing characters alive. I'm worried about Disney. I can't go on very much longer, but I am in fact worried about Disney. I know they need money. I know that they're fucking up their parks. I'm forgetting who the CEO is right now, but I feel like it used to be that one woke-tard woman. I'm worried about them. They made a pretty good Little Mermaid movie, but I am in fact worried about Disney as a company. And the parks seem like they're really becoming a problem because apparently you just can barely have fun there anymore. But I think I'm going to end the video, even though I could say more. And if you liked The Little Mermaid and you want to see a fun new version of it, I do actually recommend going and seeing this one. And if you don't want to see it, or if you hate it, or you think you're going to hate it, or whatever the heck, like, still, by all means, go see it so you can know what you're talking about.